hate being late. You know that. I really wanted to get this underway, and you've all held me up again, and it's not good enough, councillors. And yeah, get your act together, because you know I like to kick off on time. Thank you. All right. Alrighty. So, firstly, we've got our attendance and apologies. No one has apologised, unless anyone wants to apologise for being here. No? No? That's good. Okay, we've got 2 leave of absence. None of that. 3, confirmation of minutes. Do we have someone who would... Thank you, Councillor Fowler. And seconded, Councillor Tozer. That's item 3. Moved and seconded. All those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. Item 4, conflicts of interest declarations. I haven't seen anyone send anything in. No? Nope, that's good. Item 5, committee forward planning schedule, 5.1. That is a start item. Anyone happy to move the start item? Thanks, Councillor Tozer. Second to Councillor Fowler. Thank you. Okay, we'll take the vote on that. All those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. We've got 2 reports, 5.2 and 6.1. They're actually around the wrong way, in the sense that 5.2 needs to be in closed session. It is actually on grey pages. And 6.1 we can do in open, although we'll need to be careful where the debate goes. Bless you. Where the debate goes as to whether we have to move into closed at some time. So we'll deal with... Actually, yeah, Paul, is there any... I'd still rather deal with 5.2 first, yeah. And then we can go... Does it matter which way round they are?
No. Through your chair, no. And Mark's here if you'd like to start with 5.2.
Okay. All right. So I think what we'll do then is we'll deal with 5.2, and we will need to go into closed because of, well, it's both things really, isn't it? Budget and commercial in confidence. So I'll move us into close for 5.2. Seconded, Councillor Gates. Thank you. Councillor Patterson,
question,
you can.
And I'm new. Well, I haven't been to this committee for a while. The report is in open, so if I'm not mistaken.
No, but I was just saying it 5.2. There was a mistake. That one is the one that should have been.
It's meant to be enclosed.
Yes.
It's meant. Okay.
Yeah, 5.2.
I didn't understand whether.
It's on grey pages, and
it just wasn't in the.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was the other way around that it should have been on the agenda.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll take the vote on that to move us into close to deal with 5.2. All those in favour? That is carried. So thank you. Thank you, Councillor Tozer. I'm happy to second the item. And Councillor Tozer, do you wish to speak?
On those priority projects, and kudos to Councillor Fowler for initiating the idea that we have that update at each monthly ETEC meeting. It was a good idea.
Yeah, terrific. And Mark, thank you for being so open and closed. Thank you. That was good.
Pleasure.
All right, and we will take the vote. All those in favour? That is carried. Councillors, one more item on the agenda, and this one, as I say, can be held in open. So I'm going to hand back to Mark. This is Invest Gold Coast Trade and Investment Strategy. Off you go, Mark. Yeah, if you're happy to.
Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to present the Invest Gold Coast Trade and Investment Strategy 2026 to 2031 for Council's consideration. The strategy supports Council's long-term vision for a stronger, more diversified and investment-ready Gold Coast. It's been developed in close alignment with Council priorities and planning frameworks. It reflects the city's position at a critical moment as we prepare for the opportunities and pressures that come with growth to 2032 and beyond. I want to also touch on why this strategy matters now. The Gold Coast is experiencing strong growth, you know that, in our population, our global profile, infrastructure investment and major events. This gives us a real opportunity to build on that natural momentum and shape it into an even greater economic potential. We're recognising that competition between cities for investment, talent and jobs continue to grow. This strategy provides a clear framework to guide how investment is prioritised, how opportunities are assessed, and how Council works with the private sector in a transparent and commercial way. It's about moving from interest to impact and from opportunity to delivery. Our purpose, at its core, our purpose is simple. I think I've mentioned before, we're not a sovereign wealth fund and don't intend to be. Our role is purely to advise Council and to attract investment, enable long-term economic growth and position the Gold Coast as a competitive national and global hub for business, trade and innovation. Deliverables under our pillars, projects, programs and portfolio decisions are all anchored to that purpose. Our approach is to invest, attract and deliver. The strategy is built around a clear and integrated approach, which focuses on one, optimising land use and precinct development. Number two, delivering catalytic city-shaping projects. Three, attracting investment into priority sectors and locations, and four, managing a disciplined investment portfolio or assisting Council to do that aligned with Council's risk appetite. This approach isn't about chasing investment at any cost. It's about attracting the right investment in the right places for the right long-term outcomes. There are three pillars to our key pillars to our strategy. The first being projects. The projects being city shaping outcomes. The strategy prioritises the delivery of major projects on public land to catalyse precinct renewal and long-term economic value. Invest Gold Coast supports Council by shaping...
Mark, can I just stop you there? Sorry, it's just the duress alarm has just gone off. You can hear it, so we just want to make sure that there isn't anything.
Hopefully, it wasn't my presentation that set it off.
So, yeah, I just thought I'd let you know, so I might just go and check. Oh no, I'll. Yeah, no one's going to argue with our pocket rocket, are they? Absolutely not. Like,
Maybe.
it was Annie is, Annie rugby tackled them to the ground and gave him an uppercut, and we're now safe. Thanks, Annie. Oh, gee. Right, yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you. Sorry, Mark. Okay.
Okay, I'll carry on.
Okay.
Any questions before I continue? You happy for me to keep going?
Councillor Gates.
Under the old economic development, we used to get the program of proposed investment attraction, trade missions, etc. Will that still be coming to us from Invest? I'm a bit confused because I think most of the economic development branch has been transferred into Invest Gold Coast. And we were having a chat earlier, and I can't recall seeing the latest schedule of what is proposed in terms of international travel for investment attraction. So I simply wondered if there's going to be a report to Council that assesses that ahead of the travel being undertaken.
Through you, Chair. Council, we do, before the end of last calendar year, the team completed a trade mission calendar bringing together the trade mission activity or proposed activities across Invest, Experience and the city. That draft, I have a copy of the first quarter of that here today that I'm happy to give you a quick highlight in terms of the trade missions for the first quarter of this year. And the intention was to bring we didn't have enough time to complete that early this or bring that to Council for today, but would be happy to bring that to ETEC the next ETEC meeting. And I think that, but just further to that, there's a lot of work. I'd like to bring the CEOs together to talk about how do we maximise the potential of the visits while we're in country, in those locations that we're visiting. How do we maximise the potential of those visits while we're there? How do we streamline the activities across the three entities so that we've got a coherent trade mission program for each of those in-country events? How do we identify who are the right people we need to meet when we're in those locations, and also to bring back as direct investment opportunities to the city, as well as being more strategic about those businesses on the Gold Coast that we want to take with us on those trade missions. So there's a lot more work to do, but we'll happily report back to ETEC next month. I'll carry on just in terms of update on the trade mission, trade investment strategy. So Invest Gold Coast supports Council by shaping the project visions, undertakes strategic planning, engaging the market early and connecting Council with capable private sector partners. And so this approach enables land uplift, urban renewal, industry attraction and community benefit across priority projects, including projects like the Gold Coast Arena, the Hotter Bundle project, Miami Arts Depot, Narang Admin Precinct. Across the programs which we use to drive growth and capability, targeted programs sit alongside major projects. Targeted programs sit alongside major projects to proactively grow the economy. These programs focus on attracting business and high-value jobs in priority sectors, expanding trade and export opportunities through trade missions and leveraging major events to elevate the city's profile. A dedicated concierge is something we plan to underpin this work to make it even more valuable, ensuring investors and businesses can experience a more coordinated, responsive and investment-ready city. We were also responsible for portfolio management, a disciplined investment management approach. The strategy aligns with City's investment policy, or the council's investment policy, through a disciplined, diversified investment portfolio approach. Investment Gold Coast works together with the city finance team to provide advice and ensure investments deliver the risk-adjusted returns, maintain adequate liquidity, and generate income for reinvestment in civic and community priorities. The pillar ensures investment decisions are transparent, probity-led, and aligned with Council's long-term financial objectives. The expected outcomes we expect over the 5-year life of the strategy and the expected cumulative impacts include $1.3 billion in investment attracted, $3.6 billion in economic activity, 15,000 jobs, at least 5 major catalytic projects established. These are evidence-based outcomes aligned to the confirmed project pipeline and the investment activity. In terms of closing remarks, this trade and investment strategy meets the requirements of the service funding agreement between Investment Gold Coast and the city. It was developed with the principles of an evidence-based approach, alignment with Council's priorities, formally endorsed by the Invest Gold Coast Board, provides Council with a clear 5-year framework that sets direction, priorities, and discipline for how trade and investment activity will be delivered, governed and measured, ensuring investment activity is aligned with Council's long-term economic finance and city shaping objectives. Happy to take any questions.
I was going to say quit while you're ahead, but no, you were there. Councillor Patterson has put a hand up. Yes.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. Thank you very much for that. With the $1.3 billion, I'm just wondering if that does that connect with the page prior in terms of the sectors when you're saying, okay, percentage growth in knowledge economy, particular in future industries. Is that okay? We think we'll get this percentage out of this area.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
it's all aligned to to match our priority precincts to deliver on the jobs and the outcomes that we're looking to achieve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, councillors, any other comments or questions? Yeah, Councillor Tozer.
I suppose my only question really is that your expected outcomes talk about those 5 major catalytic projects, and I'm assuming they're the 5 projects that are earlier in the presentation. They're priority projects right there. What is the process that you'd expect for that to grow or adjust over time?
The number of projects or the outcomes. So I think it's really important that we now focus on, in addition to the projects that are on foot through you, Chair, what are the pipeline of new projects that we need to identify to start to build out that strategy so that, as we update the strategic plan every year, we'll readdress those expected outcomes and determine whether, are we on track, off track? What do we need to do to adjust our approach at the front end, the pipeline, access to capital or partners that we're working with to achieve the long-term outcomes that we expect to achieve?
Yeah, so I suppose my question is, by what mechanism and what general kind of annual timing would we adjust these priority projects? How does that work best for you? And the reason I ask the question is I know that you're working on other projects that are nominally in their infancy or, for other purposes that we won't talk about right now. It's probably confidential, some of that stuff confidential. But I'm trying to just understand that over time those 5 projects will change. What's going to be the mechanism to adjust that list? Is it an annual thing that our deadline's March each year and we tell you the projects for the next year? Or is that something that you guys design and come back to us based on the the kind of organic growth in the projects you've been taking from inception, which I'm assuming that in inception they might not be on this list. They might be a 6-month, 12-month, 2-year lead time before they get on the list of priority projects. Help me understand how you see that.
So, through you, Chair, operationally, we look at this quarterly as a way of measuring performance against our expected outcomes, or what we would refer to internally in our operational plan as our own internal KPIs, and match that to individual performance as well. How do we make sure that everyone in the organisation is working, on the things that are going to deliver on our strategic outcomes and our strategic objectives? And we need to have, I think, a regular reporting mechanism back into ETEC to update you on what we think that future pipeline looks like, and get your endorsement and support for what that future pipeline looks like and what it means in terms of adjustment to those expected outcomes through time.
Yeah, that quarterly review process I think is critical, because if at any time council reaches a stop-go point and we stop, hypothetically the arena or Miami Arts Depot, if there's some sort of stop, either ideologically stop, council resolves not to do it anymore, or even just a planning barrier where, maybe we're not able to get the Miami Arts Precinct to a point where it can be delivered within the planning framework expected by the community, that'll stop, and there needs to be that consistent process for you to renew those priority projects so we can redeploy our resources accordingly. And so do you expect that internal quarterly meeting will be communicated to ETE, or how often do you think you'll come back and chat about this strategy? 12 monthly or 6 monthly, or what do you have in mind?
I think, through your Chair, probably 6 monthly, but with I think an indication at, perhaps quarterly frequency at ETEC, where we might be headed with, each quarter with it. In terms of what our 6 monthly update might look like. I'm answering this on the fly.
Yeah, I get that. I probably should have. I saw you before. I probably asked you. I was going to tell you the question before. But
I think the answer, without going into the detail, is that we need to engage with you at a sufficient frequency that you know where we're headed in any given quarter, or how we're adjusting our pipeline of projects to meet what our longer term strategic plan is going to look like, so that that's not a surprise at the end of each, when we complete our annual review of the strategic plan.
Yeah. So, and I think the reason I'm kind of raising these questions is because we just had a closed session item where it talked about 5 projects and the status of them, or a number of projects and the status of them. I think that confidential piece probably should have a few items that are potentially in development and for visibility for us. And the example I'll give you is in the public domain. So over past years, the Mayor, as a spokesperson of the city, rightfully so, he's expressed his personal view that there should be, the council might want to take over the convention centre. That's in the public domain. There's nothing secret about that. But if we got to a point where there was a direction, or maybe the CEO had asked Invest Gold Coast to kind of oversee that advocacy or oversee that as a project, I think as council we'd probably like to be across that, not across it in its fullness, but and then the Mayor should still have autonomy to be able to say what he wants to say. I'm not trying to say he shouldn't speak, but if that got to a point where it was consuming Invest Gold Coast resources, there should be a reporting mechanism for you guys to come back to us and say, hey, we've been given a direction to this extent, and the ETE committee is being kept informed that that's been a direction we've received, either from the CEO or from the Mayor, or from an inbound inquiry that maybe not related to any direction. I think that would be helpful in that other report. I don't know if you need a resolution to do that. Councillor Gates, Councillor Fowler, I'm not sure if you think we need a resolution to adjust that, but I think when Councillor Fowler initially sought that report we dealt with before, I think there was a piece in there thinking we're not just talking about the priority projects that you're doing. We're actually talking about a bit more than that. And there's no criticism, and I've used that example because it's a public domain example, but I can think of 3 off the top of my head that are perhaps not in the public domain, that are probably things you're working on. I think council laws probably should be kept aware of some of those early stage concepts. I'm getting some nods. So outside of BAU, outside of business as usual. And I don't know. Yeah, sorry. Maybe Mr. Callender could shed some light on how that might work.
Through you, Chair, this feedback isn't inconsistent with some of the feedback we're receiving as part of the entity interim review. The natural way of consistent. Consistent. No, consistent.
Oh, consistent. I thought you said inconsistent too.
It's my stutter. And the most obvious place for that to sit is in the quarterly performance reports. So whilst our item 5.2 today addressed at a very high level the traffic lights, what we can do is talk to both the PIPs and also have through IGC and probably the other entities as well, if we stretch it that far, is some of those discussions which are happening. Again, commercial in confidence, but they could be incorporated into the quarterly performance report.
I think that sounds good. The other thing I'd say is that another one that's in the public domain is the ARC project. Now, I know that you guys aren't leading the ARC project, but there's an innovation precinct that's been launched as part of the ARC project that seems more naturally connected to the investment attraction piece than necessarily the disposal of waste and processing of waste piece. And so that might even form part of, keeping us informed about your involvement in the innovation precinct inside the ARC, which is, again, already in the public domain. There's nothing secret about it. Those are the sorts of things I think would be good to have that feedback on as well.
Yeah, although that one will be, I know exactly what you're saying, but that'll be questionable as to where that should go. I mean, we've already had that debate of anything related to ARC, whether it should be coming to us, even ARC on its own, not just the innovation adjunct as such. But yeah, but it may
I'm only really referring to the innovation precinct than I am to the whole project. But
yeah, there still may be an argument though that it shouldn't come here, but yeah, I see where you're coming from. But yeah, okay. Who's first? Ladies first. We'll go to Councillor Patterson, then we'll come back to you, Councillor Martin.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. I think Councillor Tozer's really hit on something that is quite important for us, and I think it may be worth drafting something into the committee's recommendation so that it's clear. The part of it that I think I would like to see is including the pipeline, as Councillor Tozer says, but when I look at the priority investment projects, I think all of them have come from council resolutions. So what I would be interested in, and I think it was something I understood InvestGC would be providing at the formation of InvestGC, is, okay, you've told us you want us to look at this. This is what we think we should be looking at. And then having a comparison of the two, because it makes sense that we've given you directives at the beginning, and maybe that will just kind of change over time. But I think it would be really useful for council to kind of get that. What would InvestGC be doing if it was just clear, it's just you guys, and we weren't providing directions? I want to see that information, because that's what we've got that talent and skill for there. Is that something that you would be looking at in terms of that quarterly review when you are analysing, okay, this is where we think is the best use of our resources. We have got direction that we need to look at this, this and this, but this is what we think would make sense?
Through you, Chair. So having been in the role for a bit over 3 months now, we've established the trade and investment strategy, trade mission calendar. There's more work we need to do on the trade mission calendar. One of the opportunities I see in the business, in the Invest Gold Coast business, is to build out that origination capability, which is what will inform the future pipeline of projects. And then I see that as a two-stage, a two-step process. So we originate, the origination happens inside the business of what that potential pipeline opportunity might be. Once we've developed that idea to a certain stage, we take it to our board, the Invest Gold Coast board, to test for comprehension, to say we think this is a good idea. We'd like to have that strategic discussion with the board to get your endorsement. Once our board has said yes, we think that's a good idea, we'd like you to move that forward. We'll then bring that to council through ETEC or council, depending on the timing and the requirements to get a decision to move to the next stage. Is that does that answer the question that you're asking?
I think it does, but I've a couple of hands up, which
I
maybe it
wondered
doesn't.
if we
but,
could go into closed session, please, so that we can talk openly about a number of things that are not in the public domain.
We weren't looking at right now speaking about anything specific, but you want to for that, because I thought we were talking here about future reports in the quarterly updates.
Just in response to that last process that is being envisaged, I wanted to raise a concern about moving, and I can do it in open, I just won't mention specifically what I was going to.
Okay.
I just question the appropriateness if in a lot of work is being done into a particular issue to get to the point where you present it to the board, but without any input from the council as to whether they might support that strategic direction. I just question whether there needs to be a briefing or something to councillors in advance of doing an entire body of work to make a proposal that might get board support, but then might come back to council and council says, oh, sorry, that's not what we want to do in that particular area.
Sorry, if I can just jump in there. I know where you're coming from. The only danger there that I can see is then we open up the door to us almost directing, and that's why we've set up an independent board with expertise. And I just worry about, what was the point of setting it up if we're going to get involved at that stage. I think we just got to be very careful going down that. That's only my view. I mean, other councillors might think differently. We don't disagree that much, do we? But there we go.
No, and it is in relation to one particular project that is sort of.
So in which case, if you do want to speak about a specific project, then we probably do need to move into close. Before we do that, I'll just go to Councillor Fowler, though, in case it's something we can deal with now.
Thank you, Chair. Just to clarify, the actual council resolution that was voted on unanimously was that a standing agenda item be provided to Economy, Tourism and Events Committee addressing a monthly work in progress update incorporating the following elements. A, list all projects, including priority infrastructure projects with status updates and key milestones, and then attaching the council resolution. It wasn't just PIP projects. So just to clarify that for the committee.
Yeah, but then that...
If that resolution were adhered to, we would have knowledge of anything that was being considered and an opportunity for input. I'm just concerned about a huge body of work being undertaken by Invest staff on a project that may be not what the future aspiration of the council is for an area.
Maybe we'll go into close and we'll debate that further. So, yeah, please, yeah.
Just in the recommendation, point 2, just apologies if I missed it, but I know the KPIs and strategic review will occur. What was the timing? What's the rough approximate timing that might come back, Mr. EGM?
I'm happy to go through.
Paul probably has a better answer.
Certainly from a KPI perspective, both IGC, BGC have their 12-month KPIs. And as we know, EGC have broader KPIs. As part of the interim entity review, we'll be potentially recommending that all of those KPIs, through mutual agreement, looked at, and they both have long-term KPIs and also short-term KPIs. Short-term being 12 months.
But there's still a strategic review occurring. That's coming back to council, though, right? the outcome of that strategic review?
Yes, through you, Chair, that would be coming to the April Council meeting.
April. Thank you. Great.
Okay. I'm looking for a mover to close, Councillor Gates, to discuss. And again, thank you, Councillor Tozer, to second, given this is again, commercial in confidence. So we'll take the vote to move into close. All those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. Excuse me. Okay, streaming is back on, and welcome back anyone who's still watching, if indeed anyone was watching to start with. But yeah, if you were, welcome back. So we will now. Okay, there's any more questions in open at all? No. Is anyone happy to move the item? Thanks, Councillor Tozer. Do we have a seconder for the item? Councillor Fowler, thank you so much. We'll move back to Councillor Tozer to debate, or to open debate, or close debate, or do both, or do neither.
This is an important piece of work. It's great that we've got that up front, and I'm looking forward to many years of being updated on it as we shift projects and adjust our priorities to suit the city's interests.
Very good, very good. Councillor Fowler, you're happy with that? Okay. In which case, councillors, we will take the vote on the recommendation that is on the screen. All those in favour? That is carried unanimously. Okay. Councillors, I don't have any general business, so given there is no general business, we will declare the meeting closed at 14:13. Thank you very much.